What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Just the guy on my lunch break is back. Things are going okay. So I'm at 4 grams right now of Kratom. I've been stabilizing on that for about the past week. As far as a taper goes, I've a couple of times now gone down a little too aggressively, a little too quickly, and then on the second and third night realized that, okay, you went a little bit too quick. Roger that. You need to go back up a little bit to make it a little bit more doable, a little bit more comfortable for yourself. Because I've talked about on this channel a ton about tapering, and the reason I talk about tapering so much is because there are a lot of people out there that have gotten onto Kratom and, believe the lie that, it's all good at first, feels great, and you read all this stuff, and there's obviously a large community of people out there who are Kratom advocates, and that's fine. I'm not here to paint this terrible demonic picture of Kratom, and I will even concede that, okay, it's not as bad as heroin or fentanyl or even Percocet pain pills, which I had an addiction to back in the day. Maybe it's not as bad as those things, but it's all about perspective, and to some people it is. And it's one of those things where there's a large community of people out there that want to, give off this impression of, Kratom, Kratom schmatom. It's no big deal. Can't get addicted to that shit. It's related to the coffee plant. Come on. Any of us who have been using it for quite a while and have kind of gotten caught in the Kratom trap, we know that's not the case. We know that's not true. We know that it can be a slippery slope, and in the end, a bad deal, just like an opiate can. And I know it's not technically classified as an opiate, but in my mind and in my opinion, if it does a lot of the same things that an opiate does, and can also hit those same opiate receptors, and can give you opiate-like withdrawals once you become dependent and then abruptly stop taking it, it's an opiate. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's an opiate. Or at the least, it acts like an opiate. Okay? So, one of the reasons I talk about tapering a lot is a direct correlation to a message and a new subscriber I just got a few minutes ago. I had a guy pop on and say, hey man, I'm your 909th subscriber. He expressed that he's been through many opiate addictions, anywhere from pain pills all the way up to fentanyl and then Kratom. And he said that he's quit cold turkey several times, or I don't know if he said several times, but he did say he's quit cold turkey before, and that it was hell, which I completely agree. It is hell. Quitting pain pills is hell. Quitting Kratom is hell. I personally don't have any experience with intravenous type. I've never been on heroin or fentanyl or anything like that, but I'm sure that it's hell. From what I hear, it can be the worst hell. Anyway, either way, the point that I'm making is, he also continued by saying, I am not at a place in my life where I can do that right now. I'm going to have to do a taper. And that's the reason he started watching my channel, because I talk a lot about tapering from Kratom. The reason I do that is because not everyone is in a situation where, in life, right, where they can just suck it up buttercup and feel like shit for a month and a half, 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks of acute withdrawals, of being deathly sick, and then another month and a half of severe low energy, severe low mood, depression, the whole kit and caboodle, right? And I talk about on this channel, I'm a voice for and a representation for that person who has a lot of responsibilities, you know. And I get people sometimes, oh, just fucking, you know, shake it off, man. Just, you know, rip the Band-Aid off, go home, stay for a couple of days, you know. And I'm not saying everybody falls into this category, but I've definitely had my fair share of people who you could just tell that they're just mid-20s people who don't have anyone depending on them. They don't have a family, they don't have a spouse, maybe not even a girlfriend, and, you know, all they have to do is just work their mindless job every day and then go home and smoke weed and play video games. Oh, it wasn't no problem quitting Kratom for me. Well, yeah, you don't have no fucking responsibilities in life either, do you? You know, try having a family and children that depends on you. That's where this guy was. He proceeded to say he has 2 children. He can't take any time off of work right now, but he wants off of the shit. I'm the voice for that guy. I'm the voice for all of you out there who have gotten seduced by and hooked into this Kratom, where, you know, we got this whole community of people like, oh, it's related to the coffee plant, it's not bad. And then you believe that shit, and then you feel like you found the golden goose. What? You mean I get to take something that makes me feel like this, and there's no, you know, negative consequences or side effects with it? Yes. You know, so then we just go all in, full force, head on, and then once you find out 2-3 months down the road, okay, well, this isn't quite what I thought. Now, you know, I tried to go without taking it the other night, and I was in full-on complete opiate withdrawal, and I had restless legs, and I felt sick, and I felt depressed the next day, and I was cold, and I had cold chills, and I had diarrhea, and I barely could muster enough energy to, you know, feed my child or get up and take care of my child or to take my children to school, or I had no energy at work to do anything. Is really affecting me in a really, really big way, right? And people cope with and handle stuff like these withdrawals in different ways, you know. And there are some people out there, don't get me wrong, depending on if you're a person that's just really hit rock bottom with it, and you're a person who's just like, you know what, fucking David Goggins this shit, you know, I've hit rock bottom, I don't want to do this anymore, and there's been some sort of consequence that is worse for you than is the punishment of completely cold turkeying Kratom, right? Like, you've weighed the risk, you've weighed the rewards, you've weighed the punishment, you've weighed the consequence against what it's going to cost you to stay on the Kratom, and you've just decided, I don't give a fuck how bad it is. It is not as bad. The withdrawals are not going to be as bad as blah, 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 blah that just happened to me. You understand what I'm saying? The withdrawals can't be as bad as XXXXX that I just got through dealing with because of taking Kratom, right? So some people will get to that point, and yeah, they're just fucking David Goggins it. Just stay strong, just fucking, you know. And I've been there at a point in my life, but at that time, I also didn't have nearly the amount of responsibility that I have now. So that's why, for me, I'm kind of a voice for that person out there who has a family, you know, has a job, children, a lot of responsibilities, and you can't just take a week or 2 weeks out of your life to recover from something like this and to just feel like shit. Total shit every day, right? And you know, so I'm kind of the voice for those people. And so I just wanted to make this quick video to let you know tapering is not easy either, but if you're able to remain consistent and drop your dose, then stabilize, and by stabilize I mean stay on the same dose for at least, at minimum, 3 days. That's what a lot of sources recommend. A lot of them, to get, you know, to get out almost completely unscathed without any withdrawals, a lot of them will even say stay on the same dose for a week. Some people say, you know, it's easier to hang off of a cliff for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, than it is for 3 months. And the psyche behind that is sometimes it's easier to just jump and completely get off. Yeah, it sucks. It hurts worse in the short term, but you're past the acutes and you're kind of done with the whole physical aspect of it in a couple of weeks. Whereas if you taper and it takes you 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to taper from a larger amount, that's more days, more weeks, and more months that you have to lose focus, you know, break your taper on the weekends and end up going and taking more and all of that stuff. Now listen, the only answer I really have for that is that you just are gonna have to make yourself stay busy. Do whatever you have to do to hold yourself accountable. Stay engaged with something. Do hobbies. Do whatever you have to do to stay away from the Kratom on the weekends, and make sure that you're sticking with a taper. Taper, then stabilize. Taper, then stabilize. That is a way that if you can stick with it, and if you can force yourself to stick with it, you can get off of Kratom and really have very, very minimalistic withdrawals, if any at all physical withdrawals, okay? Now there's gonna be some pause, some post-acute withdrawals. You know, I'm not saying if you taper for a few months and then your first day completely off of Kratom, you're just gonna bounce back to complete baseline and homeostasis and you're gonna be the happiest person in the world. No. You still are gonna be in a position where you're gonna have to cope with life without Kratom, cope with, you know, dealing with life on life's terms, dealing with challenges and struggles in life, you know, without having that extra little mood boost and that little opiate high to where you're just like, well, I don't give a shit about this challenge because I feel great and I'm on Kratom and I don't give a fuck. You know, you're gonna have to deal with those things no matter what, right? I would say tapering is definitely not gonna be as severe, because your body would have been, and your mind and your chemical makeup would have been adjusting little by little, you know, as you taper, as you take less and less Kratom, your body is going to be micro adjusting as you make the micro changes in your doses. So little less Kratom, your body starts to adjust, make a little more dopamine. Next week, a little less Kratom, your body starts to adjust, start to make a little more dopamine. So when you do finally come off, it's not this complete and utter just shock to the system where you feel completely worthless, sick, depressed, nauseous, diarrhea, you know, cold chills, yawning, sneezing. I mean, everything else that comes along with an opiate-like withdrawal. You can make it more manageable for yourself. And if you're a person that has a lot of responsibilities in life, manageability is a big part of this deal. If you're a person that has fucked around and gotten caught in the Kratom trap, but you're also a person who has a family, you have a lot of responsibilities at home and at work to juggle, and you just can't take a couple of weeks out of your life and just completely jump off of something like this, because it can be hell. It can be a physical, mental, and emotional hell. If you can't do that, the way to go is to taper. So that's my message to you guys. If this kind of content helps you, obviously it does. I got, you know, over 900 subscribers now, people that have hit that button, that are getting something from a platform like this, where they can also come on and, you know, leave a message and read messages of people who are like-minded, who are also having issues with Kratom, or have taken Kratom in the past, or are currently taking Kratom. If you enjoy this sort of content, hit that subscribe button, the like button, leave a comment down below, let me know what your particular situation is, and yeah, so that's my 2 cents. I'll be on 4 grams for probably the rest of the week. I might try to drop to 3.5 come Friday. It's Wednesday now, so about 2 more days on 4 grams, and then when the weekend comes, I plan to try to drop it again, maybe by 0.5 gram. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Maybe I'll do a video this weekend while I'm at home as well. All right, love you guys. Have a great evening. And we're about to get hit by a major hurricane down where I live in North Carolina. So keep your fingers crossed for me that I don't have any more trees fall in my yard or that I don't lose power. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed about that one. All right, guys. See you later. Love you.